BJ Penn, right? The development is he had a secret recording of his mother in their living room.
The company, just give me my fair share of the
As far as
company.
I know, you owe.
I just want 51%.
You owe nothing.
I just want 51. What do you
owe
mean?
nothing.
But you love.
I'm just telling you.
You're gonna get yourself
You
into a
owe
much
nothing.
bigger problem. We
You
walk
owe
inside.
nothing.
We go inside the court and
You're
you start saying I owe nothing. You're gonna get into a
harassing me.
big problem.
I'm
No,
ready.
we're just talking.
I'm ready.
What
to
are you
go
ready
to court.
for?
Let's go.
Even if you're my mom, even if you're my mom and you walk inside
Let
there,
the
even
court
if you really were my.
decide.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you.
Let the court
Even
decide.
if you
I gotta
really
check
were my
these
mom,
people now.
you gotta be scared of that. Even if you really were my mom, to say that I own nothing is gonna screw you guys bad. You do know that, right, Lorraine? What's up, everybody? It's BJ Penn. I just wanted to address for everybody that people come up to me and tell me, you know, I know you feel entitled to all of this properties that your parents had and this and that, but you didn't buy it, you didn't build it. And I just want to say right now, that's all bullshit. The whole time I kept this family afloat for years, from the financial crash in '08 all the way till today. The bowling alley, only one business is in there buying the whole thing. These people are crazy, identity thieves. You see this right here? See all this right there? Fighting. Always having money, liquid cash. These belts, this. That's what the UFC gym is there right now. Paying the mortgage for the bowling alley. And these people are crazy. Just had to remind you.
This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting
Oh.
for this.
But my whole thing, so now it is his mom, or does he still think it's not his mom?
So in the video, he's still saying, if you're really my mom.
Okay.
So he's not sure.
Okay.
But this is what I've been asking for. I've been asking, are these real interactions? Like, we need a video with audio. He fucking gave it to us.
And she responded back.
And she's saying, he's basically,
Yeah.
let me just read it to you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have it translated. Oh my goodness. Basically, they're arguing over the family business. He's asking for 51% ownership. And then she said, oh, so this is how it goes. BJ says to his mom, just give me my fair share of the company. I just want 51%. BJ's mom replies, you own nothing. You're harassing me. BJ says, we're just talking. We walk into the court and you start saying I own nothing. You're going to get into a big problem. BJ's mom says, I'm ready. Let the court decide. And BJ says, even if you really were my mom, even if you really were my mom, to say that I own nothing is going to screw you guys bad. So BJ's asking for 51% ownership of the family business. She's saying you own nothing. He's threatening to take her to court. She's saying, let's go.
Mm-hmm. That's some family drama. I'm more under the assumption that it is his mom.
I think it's his mom, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said before, I got to say it again. I think the family business isn't what it used to be. They have to make adjustments. They have to sell off assets. Like he's already said, they sold a condo and stuff like that in order to continue to thrive with whatever else they have going.
Right.
I think BJ is in complete denial about that. He's completely broken over the fact that they've sold his properties because he wants to die on that hill of like, we're going to keep this forever. Ownership is key. Something like that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And his parents are like, ownership is key, BJ, but we don't have money. You know what I mean? So we need to sell this.
There's not income coming in anymore like it used to be.
Right. So we lose everything, or we lose one thing and use that to pay for everything else in the meantime. Mm-hmm. And I think BJ, he cannot let it go. It's all an assumption on my end, but that's truly what I believe.
Yeah.
He won't let this stuff go, and I think his family's trying to make logical decisions, but he's in denial about it.
Yeah, so I put in the chat, serious question, does BJ Penn need help, homies? Comment, CTE. Nah, he has issues, but they are trying to take his shit as well. It's documented. They're using CTAs and brain issues to take it. Next one, CTA, drugs, early offset dementia, or he's telling the truth. It just sounds crazy because we can't comprehend going through something like that. Through our family would never do that. But kind of like what you said, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And I think too, like it's telling what you said. I mean, if you're used to getting, I don't know, let's throw a crazy number out there, $1 million a year. I don't know, but that might be low for BJ Penn
Mm-hmm.
at his prime, at his peak. And what income are you really getting coming in? It goes back to the story. What you said is like you have this shelf life. How do you make money after 38, 40 if you're a really good fighter?
You
Do
got to
you
have these outside things,
you have to have the right? How many
investments, side businesses.
right? And how many of them really have that?
1%.
I was gonna say five, but
Mm-hmm.
one's even a better number, and that's every sports. That's everybody in that world. So now we're seeing this story play out and right in front of our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because like maybe it is. I feel like I can almost when I watch that video, like I put myself in his position because I got like a Hawaiian mom, so like I try to put myself in the position of like me and my mom. How would our relationship go if I was pushing her to that extent? Like, was she telling me I owe nothing? Because that's hard for a mom to just tell her son. I feel like if I was being that fucking stubborn like BJ, my mom might be like, dude, like you lost it, man.
Oh, my mom would tell me shut the fuck up.
Yeah, his mom
Latina's
being
mom, Latina's mom are direct. Like
so
my
I
mom would
think
be super direct with me, bro, and my dad.
yeah, and I think his mom being hard on him, I don't know. It's just because part of me wants to think the lady's being kind of a bitch to him. Maybe that's not his mom. But then I'm thinking, like, but dude, you're fucking, like, borderline harassing her, like she said. Like, maybe she's just fucking fed up with your stupid bullshit.
I
Because,
think
like,
that's what it seemed like.
that's what it seems like.
Like fed up with your bullshit. Like, dude, I'm tired of you keep on saying this shit, dude. Like, this is where we're at. We're trying to handle things.
Right.
We
And
have the
man,
assets.
but can I completely wipe out that BJ's crazy and that he's telling all lies? I can't. I cannot do that. You know what I mean? There's a part of me that is holding out for BJ's story to see if he can validate it.
It's one of those
Because I'm
things.
not just gonna say you're a crazy person. I would like to get it validated.
Yeah, me too. I think that expression two things can be true at the same time.
Maybe there are properties being taken from him.
There could be a mixture of a lot of this CTE, maybe some of that happening. Maybe they are taking advantage of him. And all these things are playing out all together. Maybe there are money issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe that's why they are selling assets. But at the same time, maybe they're pocketing a little bit. He's not understanding everything that's
Because
going
does
on.
that not happen to professional athletes when you're the breadwinner?
A lot of times.
Happens all the time, right?
A lot of times.
But
And
BJ's saying it really crazy to
yeah.
where people are getting off put from like the first few words he spews out.
I'm more like I wish the community within the MA community, and I know some people have spoken out, and I think we've read or played some of those clips of some of his peers.
Mayhem Miller commented on his post saying, "Call me, bro."
You know what I mean? Like I think Chael responded. I think Brendan said something too.
Yeah, they all have.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? I think it's interesting because let's say you and I were homies like that. We seem to be homies like that.
Mhm.
And I saw some crazy shit, bro. I probably would drive down. Like I'd probably
Yeah.
call him like, "Hey, where you at, bro? Like, hey, I just saw the post, but let me chop it up. Let's go to lunch or something, And then I try to get a real understanding like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Like
Yeah.
"Hey, let's go talk to your mom real quick."
Definitely.
I don't see any peers like that doing that though.
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
tough one. Well, they like John Jones linked up with him recently. It's like they always use BJ for promotional. You know what I mean?
There was something I saw. Fuck, what was? Oh, Old Dirty Bastard. You know what Old Dirty Bastard is, right?
Yeah, ODB.
Yes. Yeah, ODB, RP. So I was watching one of the documentaries on him, and they were talking. His cousin is RZA, and his cousin is Jizza,
Mm-hmm.
the two founders of Wu-Tang Clan, and they were like, his wife and his kids were like, well, why didn't they step in? That's his family, and they were saying like, well, and it's like I don't want to get in his business.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you gotta get into people's business because look at what the outcome was.
Yeah.
We're talking about an extreme ultimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like ODB took it to the extreme and he ended up losing his life over an overdose. And RZA said at the funeral, "I wish I would have stepped in, bro." But it's too late.
Yeah.
Like here, it's almost like one of those things too. It's like, can someone step in just to kind of get an understanding because it doesn't seem to be getting better. It's here and it's here and it's here and it's here. We've been talking about a few months now. It
Yeah.
may be, and it sounds like it's been going longer than that.
I stopped posting about it. We haven't talked about it for a few weeks, right? But BJ has been posting things. I just haven't been posting until today was a crazier one where it's like hidden secret recording. Like you got to post that.
Right.
But like he keeps talking about it. I think the other day he posted something like, you know, happy birthday to my brother or something like, oh no, happy Mother's Day. Like he was sad. Like I felt bad for BJ, but he posted something on Mother's Day like, I wish I had my family, like I don't got no one. Like
That's
this guy
sad.
yeah,
That's
I
a
feel
cry
bad
for
for him.
help. That's a cry for help.
A cry for help. Another one, he posted a side by side of his brother saying like, I think I found who the real person is who's impersonating as my brother. I think I know who it is. Like this guy, he's struggling regardless if he's telling the truth or not.
You know what? It's just crazy. I was reading an article and I was watching something about it. When people get affected with CTE, I don't mean to
Yeah.
get too deep in here.
No, it's
They
good.
they start losing the chemicals that create dopamine.
What? So they don't create dopamine anymore if
They
you have
start
CTE?
losing, yeah, you start losing the ability for your mind and brain cells to create the chemicals of dopamine. You know what dopamine does for you?
That, I was gonna say it basically is like the feel good chemical, right? The positivity
Well,
chemical.
right. So like like
When you exercise, that's like positive endorphins.
right, and your body automatically creates these chemicals, right? To get some, it gives you a balance.
Balance.
If you get now, if you get like if I do drugs, I'm gonna get this high dopamine, or if I'm gonna do like if I go work out or run, I'm gonna get a higher natural dopamine like level in my body, right? That might naturally create. Now, let's say for people that have depression or have like certain mental disabilities that your mind body doesn't create it for you, you'll get people that get super depressed because your dopamine levels are so low that it's hard for you to do things. Like that's an actual chemical imbalance in your brain.
Definitely.
So
Well, dopamine's a chemical, yeah.
and so they're saying as they're learning more about like CTE and stuff like that, that your body is harder to create some of these natural chemicals. And so that's why a lot of these guys get in depression. That's why you hear some of these guys not being able to like formulate things and they're going off the rails a little bit. Because if you add depression into that equation, a lot of these guys are sad. They don't know how to do anymore. They don't know what to do. They end up themselves. Oh, and that's part of like the chemical imbalance that it gets created because your brain's swelling. So it's crazy. Like they're still doing. That's the crazy thing. They're still doing research on all this.
So that brings a random point that I've kind of been making for a long time, or at least thinking in the back of my head, which is, a lot of the fighters who you don't see struggling with CTE are the ones who are in media, right? Daniel Cormier, Michael Bisping, Brendan Schaub, even Mayhem Miller. When he was going crazy, he was going crazy. But now he's like in media doing his thing. Also, what does social media give people? Dopamine, right? Scrolling on social media gives you dopamine. Also, creating content, I can almost guarantee you gives you dopamine too. A viral piece of content. Maybe like being a content creator in a way helps battle some of these CTE effects.
But I will say
maybe
this.
a guy like DC would be farther gone if he didn't have the dopamine he gets from kind of being like a TV guy.
Think about this. Think how much notoriety Junior Seau had after his career. He had businesses. He was out on TV. He was doing this, and that dude ended up shooting himself.
I didn't know much about Junior, so I couldn't tell you. But
Junior
that's
Seau
the
was
case.
San Diego Chargers.
He was basically a DC then.
He wasn't that far, but he had a bunch of businesses, bro. Like fucking like on TV, like every time. That's why it was so shocking. Like, damn, he fucking shot himself. Like no one expected that. And then after the fact, there was like, oh, he had CTE. He was actually and behind closed doors, he was hurting. So I think sometimes you see these guys on TV. I'm just kind of giving you another, another side of that. We see these guys for a glimpse on our TVs or on our phones, but behind the scenes doesn't mean they still can't be hurting or struggling with something. But some do get out because you see NFL guys on fucking NBA. But I'm just saying you never know what's happening behind closed doors.
Yeah, true. Even the guys who look to be good on paper, they could be. I know Bisping struggles fucking like crazy. If you watch his podcast, you would know.
Anthony Bourdain is.
Yeah, shout out to Bourdain. I fuck with him.
Rest
in peace.
Exactly. You would think on paper, bro, on paper, like, damn, you got this. You're a fucking top chef. Fucking, you're out here traveling the world. You got a, TV show. Wow, bro. And then you hear the news. You know what I mean? So you just never know.
Yeah.
And then you add the CT shit to it.